Hey there, welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all happy podcast. I am your host and coach, KG, here with
his co-host and co-coach, Jay Wilkes, in the house.
Really excited about this episode, and today we are going to be talking about the perfect workout structure for the best results possible, ultimate results, extraordinary results, and we just wanted to take a deep dive into this and just create a really chill episode to allow you to know how to structure your workouts, because I find a lot of people are going about it wrong and they are killing the results in the gym. What is number one, Coach Josh?
Yeah, we want this episode to save you a lot of time and hassle. I mean, as I look around the gym, I see a lot of things being done backwards, being done in an improper fashion. We're also going to share some science as to why you want to do each step. So once again, we'll have the actual numerical steps in the description, so you can go ahead and implement that into your workouts. And we want you to get more for less time in the gym. So my first tip is really just getting your mindset right. And this sounds crazy, but if you want to have a good workout, it does start there first and foremost. So for me, usually in the car ride, obviously, if you can, listen to audiobook, whatever, but even that last 3 minutes, put on that number one hype song, whatever it is that fires you up, that gets your head going, that gets you dialed, that gets you pumped, whether it's screamo, whether it's rap, whether it's country, or whether it's jazz music. I don't know. You do your thing, but whatever song gets you going, do you get that on, get fired up. Now in that car, even I'm a big believer in visualization. If you have really heavy lifts, sometimes I'll think, okay, I got these squats, these bench, kind of know my numbers. I'll kind of mentally prepare myself that yes, it will be a war. It may be a hard workout. It's going to be tough, but I know on the other side of that pain is going to be growth, is going to be me getting better, is going to be me moving towards my goal. So having that mentality is so key. And then you'll say, okay, but Josh, what about the days I'm not feeling it? I had a bad sleep. Everything's against me. That's where you got to do even more mental preparation. Sometimes I'll watch a motivational video. I'll have someone screaming at me, whether it's Arnold or Ronnie Coleman or any of the greats or whoever fires you up. If it's me and Kyle, we got some stuff out there. Find something to get your head right, to get you excited to get it done. Or even say, I text some few buddies, you want to get a workout in today? Somebody you know who's going to push you, that's going to get you in there. Use these tools that are available, but by mentally having some prep, maybe bringing pre if you want it, putting on gym clothes you really like, doing these things will make it a lot nicer. I've been in examples where I've gone to the gym, I forgot my pre, I forgot my running shoes, so I had to work out in boots. It's not the same thing. So it actually starts before you get in there, getting that mentality right, getting that mindset right. I also love the concept of not having to work out, but that I get to work out. It's a privilege that we're able to spend time to go to a nice AC conditioned gym with the best gym equipment available, get out there and work. Not everyone has that opportunity, and I think it's good to remember that, and it can actually kind of put you in a place where you're like, okay, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to use what's in front of me. So that is my first tip for you today.
Yeah, and even working off of that, so I love those tips, and I think where a lot of people struggle is they just don't really know what they're also going to be training, and I'll have the conversation, someone will get to the gym, hey, what are you working to? They're like, haven't really figured it out. Like, I'm still thinking, I'm not sure. And for me, it's like our days are more or less the same, but at the same time, it's like, it makes a big difference, really. Like for a leg day on a Wednesday, when I go there, like I've got my stuff packed, I've got my mind right, I know what I'm going to be doing. Like, it is a very important thing. Not that you need to spend your entire morning thinking about it, but like just having that structure down where you know what muscles you're going to be working, what maybe accessories you need to bring, whether it's a band or just that mindset. And so many people struggle with this. And I think this is what makes a difference between someone who has like a 4 to 10 intensity and then someone who's like, hey, I was dialed in and focused. Like, it really does begin with that first drive over, that walk over, that whatever it is. And I that's why we wanted to start it, because this is super important and very overlooked. But number two is just some sort of quick cardio warm up. So I do believe getting the blood flow going is very important as soon as you get into the gym. Now, this can vary for each person. If someone's doing leg day and they want to do 5 minutes on the Stairmaster just to get their legs warmed up, get the blood flowing, maybe get the glutes activated, whatever, I do believe that it can be very beneficial. Now for me, like, not too long before I go into the gym, I do go for a nice 20-ish minute walk. And I find that when I get there, I've got my pre-workout going. I'm like, I'm ready to hit the gym and I just like smash the weights. So I personally will just kind of go right into the next tip, which we'll be talking about. But I do believe a lot of people really benefit from it, and there are tons of benefits to maybe hopping on the treadmill for a couple minutes and just getting the mind right there, for those who maybe don't have that drive over to get like mentally ready and whatnot. But it's really more of a personal thing. Like the other tips I think are more set in stone. This is something that you can kind of do what it is that feels right. Maybe riding the bike there, just to get the blood flowing, get a just warm up in. But I think where I see a lot of people struggle, and I wanted to put a little side note here, is don't spend too much time doing this. Too many people will be like, oh, I'm going to do 20 to 25 minutes, then do my strength training. So it's very important, if you are going to do this, just spend a few minutes, whether it's like maybe, 3 to 10 minutes just on some sort of warm up, and then get ready to jump into number 3, which Josh will cover.
Yeah, and with this tip as well, like I've been less rigid with this myself. I think if you're young, and I really loved, we did one course, DTS training systems, and he made a really good point. He said, I work out, I move, I'm active, so that on the days I can't, I'm still healthy and my body's still primed to do these movements. And I think that's a great way of looking at it. Now, if you're like 80, you're going to want to spend a lot more time warming up. If you have a significant history of injury, you're going to want to spend more time warming up. If you're really healthy, you're moving well, you need to do what's best for you. I like Kyle's examples too, of sometimes like he'll go on a walk before he goes to the gym. For myself, even with the gym I'm at, the child care's on the 3rd floor. So when I do have my son, I take him up those 3 sets of stairs. He's going up himself now, thank goodness, so I don't have to carry him, because it's like a little farmer's walk with like a 25-pound little human. But at least even going up those stairs, I find gets me pretty warm and good. And I do really want to just explain that the ultimate results we're talking about are aesthetic development. So it's developing your muscles, your body composition, your strength. If you're looking to train just cardio, obviously you want to prioritize cardio for that. If you're training for a marathon, you're like, I want to get a decent looking physique too, you would prioritize that. But if your goal is to really just maximize your lifting and your strength, you really want your focus to be your focus. And that's why we don't want to waste too much time excreting energy, because if I'm doing like a hardcore 45-minute cardio before I get into my weights, that is going to come at a cost of my performance of my weights. So that is where you do want to make this distinction. I find 5 minutes is a pretty great sweet spot. Hop on a Stairmaster, hop on a treadmill. The main thing is you're warming up your muscles. Like the term warm up literally often is to get blood flow circulating, for your muscles to get warm. A cold muscle is a more dangerous muscle. It's going to be tight. When you yank it from that tight position, that's how you can pull it, and it's going to contract once again really, really tight. That's how you can pull muscles, end up in all tough sorts of positions there. This sounds a little silly, but this is something I do. Even in the summer, sometimes I'll drive to the gym with my heated seats on. I know this sounds ridiculous, but my goal is to warm up my back. And usually a lot of people will have back issues. And when your back's getting a little bit warm, it's getting almost to the point of being a little sweaty. Obviously, you don't want to be having a crazy sweaty back or anything, depending on how hot it is. But it is something you can consider. And that is sometimes why people will start in hoodies and different things along that. So I wanted to give you a little bit of the thought process behind it. Like I said, though, oftentimes me walking into the gym, walking up those stairs, getting there, that's adequate for me. But if you do find you're like a little bit cold, Coach Lauren loves doing the 5 minutes on the treadmill. That is absolutely great. And 5 minutes isn't really going to take away from your core workout time. So I would experiment with different things, play with different amounts to see where you feel best. I also do a lot of compound training myself. So within me doing those compound trainings, I'll do a lot of warm-ups specifically for that movement, as we will get to in a little bit there. So if you're more advanced, you might spend more time in that core component warming up for the physical movement. Perhaps if you're a little newer, that treadmill is an easy fix. So once again, I want to encourage you to play with it. I just want to explain the thinking behind it and the different opportunities available. I really recommend too using that time, if you do go on that treadmill, to think about your workouts, to know your numbers, to look at maybe what's in your routine for the day. I know a lot of my clients will look at form videos for any movements they're unsure of, and it'll kind of create excitement towards doing that workout. So that's my little high level add-on for this. And then number 3 past that is doing dynamic stretches or any necessary mobility movements. So with this, where people go wrong is they'll come in, usually they'll do the calf stretch, they'll do the quad stretch, they'll touch their toes, and they'll be like, all right, it's game time. So what I was saying earlier, when your muscle's tight, It's in this good, safe position, right? And as you stretch it out, it's going to be less elastic and it's going to have less ability to adapt to that. And you can actually hinder your performance because a tight muscle is a snappy muscle. It's going to be a stronger muscle. And that's why a lot of studies have been done in both sprinters and lifters showing that static stretching before movement actually hinders performance, even worse than doing nothing. So instead, we're going to do quick snapping movements. So if you think swinging your arms, arm circles, I love leg kicks and just really getting my hips warm by doing a lot of different kicks before I squat. So doing any of the specific movements that will warm up your specific body part is going to be amazing for you. You just want to get loose. You want to get your body moving. And this is a dynamic or ballistic warm up. You do want to avoid static warm ups here. This could actually hinder, and we will save those for later. But that is my next tip.
Yeah, honestly, like just really doing what your body's wanting and craving. I think sometimes people, like we know, would spend way too much time on this thinking they need to foam roll for 20 minutes each side and then, an hour's gone by and you haven't really done much. And obviously, like your body will require different things for each day. Like I'll know, if I did some heavy deadlifts and I'm, going into leg day, my back's a bit tight, maybe I'll spend a bit more time doing some cat cows and some different things for my spine. And, it depends on what's gone on. I just played volleyball recently for the first time in a while. So naturally I'm a little bit tighter and my hips are just feeling a little bit off, and okay, I'll spend an extra 2 minutes on this. And the main thing is just to listen to your body as well, and not let it control you, but to just give you little things like, hey, spend an extra minute or two opening this thing up, essentially, whatever it is that may be tight or feeling a little bit of discomfort beforehand. But yeah.
And even before you jump to the next one, a lot of people think in terms of physical fatigue by doing perhaps these three things too long, and that, as I mentioned, like if you're doing 30 minutes of intensive cardio, that'll affect your strength. But mental fatigue is a big thing. I think where people go wrong is they will dedicate 30 to 45 minutes foam rolling, doing every stretch under the sun. But you want to get out of the gym. Eventually you get sick of being in there. You want to get on with your day. If you're doing a 45-minute workout, it's going to be really hard to do a good 60 minutes of strength training. And that's where you got to know you and your schedule, and you need to allocate the most time to what will be effective. So you have to think in both physical and mental fatigue, what you're going to be able to budget in, what you're going to be able to be successful with. And that is something I really want to say. And to Kyle's point, some days you'll need more, some days you'll be stiffer, and you utilize that as a tool. The other days where you feel pretty good, you're ready to go, you're ready to charge into it. There's nothing wrong with doing that within reason too. I think most importantly, it's better not to overthink it. Even with clients, I would just have them do a really quick, snappy, like hit movement to get warmed up, like 2 minutes of something just to kind of get that heart rate up, get the blood flowing. But I think that's a good transition. I'll cover number 4 as well because I already teased it, which is with any compound movements, warm up by actually doing the movement into it. Example, if I'm benching 315 that day, I'm not going to come in, load 315 on the bar. That is ridiculous. My chest has done nothing. Maybe I've done some arm swings. I'm not going to throw 300 pounds there. Instead, I'm going to groove that movement. So I'm going to start with the bar. Yes, I'm going to 315 pounds. It doesn't mean I'm too good to use 45 pounds. So with that bar too, and this is a great bonus tip, treat that bar like it's 315 pounds. Prepare your mind and your muscles to react to that. Kill it. Throw it up strong. Work on your form. Work on your plane of movement. Really optimize these factors. Work on your leg drive. Use as a training time to really have perfect form before you get into those heavy weights, and you will get some form breakdown. Then do bites. So for example, if I was going to a 315 bench, it would often look like a 45-pound bench, just a bar, then a 135, then a 225. If I feel great that day, I'll usually go 225 to 315 because that's reasonable for me. Other people would need a lot more bites. If I'm not feeling good that day, I'll do a 275 first. I'll kind of get myself in that attitude. And I think when you're warming up, if you're really slowly moving the weight, you're grinding through it, you're wincing through it, you're dreading doing more, you're already training your brain to be like, I'm going to fail on these heavier weights, or I'm not going to be at the capacity I can be at. Whereas when you take them seriously, you throw them down, you bring that intention, I do find it grooves you into actually taking that workout more serious and getting more from it. And this goes for anything, even if you're newer to the gym and you're doing goblet squats to warm, or as you're working weight and you haven't really advanced to barbells, like do some air squats and do 10s, then do your 30, right? Like give yourself some time to warm up by doing that movement before you do that movement where you should be training pretty hard towards that 8, 9, 10 degree of failure, like on a scale out of 10. Of course, you want to actually give yourself a few bites into that. And then often clients will say, okay, well, do I need to do this for every movement? Absolutely not. You don't. The first one is kind of just you're getting in there, you're getting movement. If the first thing is a compound, you're working multiple muscle groups, you'll cover a lot of that. I have been enjoying doing a primer lately myself, is something I've kind of changed up on, where if I'm doing like lat pull downs later, I will do a really light set with 40 pounds, squeeze my muscles, get my mindset right, know what I'm doing, and then I'll jump into my 3 sets. It maybe adds 45 extra seconds, but once again, I do have the liberty to be in there a little longer and do that. So if you don't, you could absolutely work against that. But once again, these are where you need to work within your schedule of what's going on.
Yeah, and the main thing here is really always starting with those compound movements, which is going to bring me into the next thing. But compound would just be any multi-joint movement, the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, and then, the OHP, overhead press, could also be considered one. But kind of working off of that, I see a lot of times people will do it backwards, where they'll do like other movements that are easier before doing that. And this is just a very common mistake. So once you have done your compound movement, let's just use back day as an example. You've done your deadlifts. That's awesome. You're ready to jump into some more accessories. Now, where it goes wrong is a lot of times people just kind of pick random things, or they'll, let's say, put bicep curls before doing a lat pull down. So the reason that's, at least in my opinion, wrong, like unless you're just kind of, your goals are just like very, very different, which I'd say most people, like Josh was saying, it's more physique related here, and that's what we're going to focus on, is a lat pull down also after that deadlift is still going to be a movement that targets a couple different things. You're going to be really targeting your back. You'll also get your biceps involved, and it's more of a challenging movement than a bicep curl. So the goal of a workout routine of the structure is to start with the hardest stuff, the more multi-joint movements, the things that are going to give you the best bang for your buck, and work towards more of those isolation things that really, like, if you're 45 minutes plus in, like, you can still do it. Like for me, a curl is I guess you could say no problem to do. It's more enjoyable. It's just really targeting your biceps, obviously a bit of forearms, and that's it. Whereas if you were to tell me over an hour in to start doing some heavy lat pull downs, it would maybe be a little bit more challenging, and my other muscle groups would be more fatigued, and it's just not as much bang for your buck, right? So in terms of the accessories, we're always thinking, and this is something we do for our clients, is how can we create the most perfect flow where it makes the most sense? As Josh uses as an example, like a nice song that's just like perfectly flowing and just perfectly put together. And of course, there will be some times where, we'll do different things depending on the situation, but you always want to think of how can I create this where you're using the most muscle groups. At the end of a glute day, we're not going to start with doing tons of like very simple kickbacks and like really light bridges, but we'll do like the more intense stuff and then work into more of the isolation, easier accessories at the end of the workout.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are definitely the thoughts you want to keep. And before Kyle shares our last tip for today, if you want to have us do all this hard work for you, and like Kyle said, you don't want to listen to a song that's only a chorus, you don't want to listen to a song that's only an intro. It's really important you have these different flows and you understand programming and daily underlying periodization, progressive overload, and even just fatigue per movement. You don't want to be doing just 8 really hard things side by side rather, and really fatiguing yourself past what's possible, destroying your CNS. We will take care of all of your programming, all of your nutrition, all of your balance and goal setting within our coaching program. If you want to learn more completely pressure free, click the first link. That's our website. It's going to tell you more about what we do, why we do it, why we have so many amazing transformations online, and how we're able to work with you no matter your age, gender, sex, creed, whatever it is. We are here to help you, whatever gym stuff you have available, wherever you live. We have worked with everyone across the globe, and we look forward to helping you as well. So click that link to learn more. But what's the final and last tip, Kyle?
Final one is very personal, just like number 2, which was the cardio warm up, but here it's going to be a cool down. So this will look completely different for each person. Now, if you happen to be rushing out to take care of your kid or a meeting or whatever, and you just end on the accessory, you're finished up with your bicep curls and you head out, that's totally fine. Like, I personally believe there's no problem at all with that. And I know a lot of people would think otherwise. Like, some people would say, hey man, like I want to do my static stretches right after. I don't believe that exactly has a direct benefit. And I think research does support that actually. But the thing is, if you do have an extra 5 to 10 minutes, I do believe a cool down of some sort can be beneficial. Once again, this isn't needed. For us, we just will hit the sauna 10 to 20 minutes, hit a quick shower, get out and head to lunch. That's what kind of has been working for us. Some people, it might be, doing a nice little cool down on the treadmill, allowing yourself to just cool down, do exactly what that says, maybe ride a bike. And I think for a lot of people, like it has actually been shown that if you are trying to get rid of a lot of soreness, that some sort of cool down for your body, whatever it is that you want to include, could be a bike, could be just a simple walk. Like it has been beneficial to help you reduce that soreness just a little bit. I don't think it's like too much, but there definitely is a purpose to it. And yeah, you can add one in if you want, but that's once again more of a personal thing in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, the quick cardio warm up isn't cardio, it's a warm up. If you're going to do cardio, this is where I think is a great time to do your cardio. If you're looking to do it in a gym, I think it's best if you can separate them. But I used to love one-stop shopping it, especially when I try to get really lean. I'd hop on the treadmill 10, 20 minutes after, do my incline walk, do my Stairmaster, whatever it is. Now that we've done the hard thing that's going to change our composition, it's going to change our muscular development, how we look, now we can kind of jump into this cardio goal. And this could be a good time to do it, especially if you do have goals around VO2 max or any of these different things. This is a time where now we've done that hard strength training, we can put that energy into our secondary goals, which may be cardio, weight loss. And of course, it doesn't have to be just a treadmill. You go play pickleball, you can do whatever you want. This is more of a personal thing. Some people really just do love a good cool down stretch. That's totally cool as well. But this is where you would dedicate that cardio now that our lifting's being done, and now that we're not taking away from our lifting to do that easier thing, which may be like just being on a treadmill or riding a bike while we watch Netflix or something like that. So that, in our opinion, is the perfect workout structure alongside all of the different variations and considerations that come alongside it. Everyone is so different. And once again, it's hard to really give a one size fits all protocol because everyone's goals are so unique and different. So if you want to have your specific goals and needs addressed very clearly, one-on-one, work with me and Kyle so we can help you get better results than ever before. Our transformations are fully guaranteed or your money back. So if you're serious about seeing change, we are the one-stop shop to make that happen. Click the first link in the description. That is our website. It's going to walk you through how it works and how you can apply to work with us one-on-one. So thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.